Last week I talked about us being at 14-year high in interest rate. 2 days later, we were at 20-year high. On Wednesday, interest rates dropped significantly. I think I quoted a person at 6.5% on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, we're down like 5.75. So what's going on there? We'll talk a little bit about that. Well, first, actually, let's like, comment, or subscribe. I've been getting a lot of really good feedback, and I really appreciate that. So let's talk about some of the reports that have come out, the housing reports that have come out. They don't really cause rates to change, but they kind of give you an idea where the market is at. So we had a pending home sales report come out on Wednesday. And no surprise that pending home sales were down month over month, like 0.2% month over month, but they're down 24% year over year. For sure, one of the reasons is interest rates are high. That's scaring a lot of people off. But also inventory is super duper low. Mortgage apps. Mortgage apps are down. They're down 29% year over year. They actually went down 0.4% week over week. Now, the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, Lawrence Yun, he expects the appreciation for homes to be about 10% year over year by the end of the year. At the beginning of the year, we were in the 20s. So we're dropping down about 10%. That's not depreciating 10%, that is appreciation year over year 10%. And he also expects that home sales will pick up towards the end of the year. And that's a pretty easy guess there. And why is that? One, interest rates should start coming down. When? We'll get into that in a minute. But they should start coming down. And in December, that is the second moving season of the year. That's certainly in the military, right? That's when people are PCSing. School semester's over, so they PCS, they take their Christmas leave at the same time, and then they go on and they put their houses up for sale. So expect, I believe what the chief economist is saying, expect that home prices gain 10% year over year, and the sales to pick up by the end of the year. We also had the Case-Shiller Home Price Index report. This is the gold standard of appreciation for a housing market across the nation. And it showed that home prices actually dropped 0.3% month over month. But year over year, they dropped from 18.1% down to 15.3% appreciation. And this across the nation, that's the largest drop in year over year appreciation since they've been tracking this. So that's a significant drop. Now, again, that's not depreciating, just the rate of appreciation is slowing down. Top metropolitan areas for home price appreciation, they're no longer on the West Coast or Arizona even. They are Miami at 1.3% appreciation month over month. Cleveland, that's right, Cleveland at 1%. I guess people want to move to Cleveland. It's probably a little less expensive there. And then Chicago, that's right, Chicago at 0.7 or 0.8% appreciation month over month. Year over year, we're still seeing over 30% appreciation in a few spots: Miami, Tampa Bay, and Dallas. I wonder why. It's not because they like the Cowboys. They like the no tax deal, and they like a little more freedom, a little more bang for your buck. In areas like Hawaii, Oahu, we're seeing prices come down, but the recovery is going to be a lot quicker as it has been historically. We got the new home sales report came out this week, and the new home sales report is kind of a tricky one. It shows that you got 29% increase in new home sales year over year. That's a lot, 650,000. But in reality, we have about 49,000 homes that are being completed. If you don't look at homes actually that are being completed, you're looking at 8 months of supply. All right, you have 8 months of supply going by those numbers. But here's the kicker. Homes aren't being completed. They got contracts being written, and guess what's happening a lot? Those contracts are falling through. But here's the other thing. Builders are slow rolling. They're not building as much now. It's too expensive. Too expensive. You got supply chain issues. You got labor issues. And if builders aren't making money, they're not making houses. As a matter of fact, they're really doing a lot for their incentives for those buyers. So for the homes that they are finishing, so that they can close those, because people are no longer qualifying for the homes that they purchased maybe 6 months ago, or in a contract on 6 months ago, maybe even a year ago. So rather than having 8 months supply of new houses, you're actually less than 1%. That's something that we got to pay attention to, because we just don't have enough inventory now. How do you get more inventory? Well, you got to build more homes. Why are people not selling homes? There's a term that's been kicked around. It's called rate lock-in. And what is that? Well, a seller, a person who owns a home, has such a great rate. He doesn't want to give up that rate. He doesn't want to give up that rate and sell his home and go buy another home. And he knows that rent has gone up. So that seller is not going to downsize. It's not going to get a bigger home. They're just going to sit put. Let's talk about what happened with rates. Let's go ahead and we'll pull up the mortgage-backed security chart for the day. We were in the high twos in January. Mortgage-backed securities were at 108 basis points. February, March, April, mortgage-backed securities dropped. Interest rates went up, and then they kind of settled down for a while, and then they dropped again in June. Right? In June, we got to a 14-year high in mortgage rates in June. All right, and then the mortgage-backed securities started going up. Interest rates came down. July was a good thing. And we were hoping August would be a good thing too, and it looked okay, and then they just tanked. And all the way through the month of September. Mortgage-backed securities have dropped, and then interest rates have gone up to now 20-year highs. The biggest thing on Wednesday, the Bank of England, the UK's inflation is above 10%. I think it's at 11%. And they're kind of losing control of their economy. The UK government was actually talking about cutting taxes. Bank of England is taking some actions to help stave the rate of inflation and bring inflation down. So that here's a question I get: Larry, when are mortgage rates going to come back down? Well, like I said before, we are on a roller coaster. Not going to change until inflation comes down. And we have a series of reports that are coming out over the next 2 months. Because the Fed is not meeting until the middle of November. And between now and then, we have 2 personal consumption expenditure reports, the one that's going to happen on Friday, and then another one the last week of October. And that is the Fed's favorite measure of inflation. They're trying to get it down to 2. We're above, I think we're near 6%. And then you have 2 consumer price index reports coming out. You have October's and November's. And those are the 2, the PCE and the consumer price index are the 2 big inflation reports that are going to come out over the course of the next 2 months. October, we may not see much improvement. I'd like to say we will, but hope is not a course of action, right? And I think the PCE on Friday, if it comes in lower than expected, then mortgage rates are going to continue to, we're going to see mortgage rates come down more. But when will rates go down? Rates will go down when inflation goes down. A lot of people are worried. They're concerned. What are you concerned about? You should only be concerned with what you can control. You don't control inflation. You don't control what's going on in Russia, Ukraine. What else do you not control? China, Taiwan. What can you control? You're spending the money, getting yourself in a position to buy. There are some people right now who are spooked buying. They're not going to buy. And hey, I don't blame you. That buying is not the answer for everybody. Being in a position to buy is important. How do you do that? You get pre-approved now. Let's get you pre-approved now. Let's figure out what your buying power is now. So don't give up. Don't give up. All right. Interest rates may come back down. They'll probably go back up.